Let's get straight to it.
The world of athletics. You just want to get to Simone Biles immediately?
Why not?
That's the big news of this week for some reason.
She recently explained why she...
Simone
quit.
Biles, basically. So, okay, for those of you, well, I'm not even going to explain who she is because she's a legend in her own right. She's a record breaker.
24.
24-year-old best gymnast of all time.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know.
Yeah, no, because see, the thing about these gymnasts is they start at such a young, and that's why it's such a brutal sport as well, because they get pushed to the limit. They get just essentially physically abused by their coaches from such a young age. And there's a lot of reports and a lot of these stories and lawsuits and stuff coming out about that. Aside from the other side of the business, that also the Larry Nassar story, who sexually abused basically all these gymnasts over the years, which also, by the way, she survived. It's a brutal industry, and people get in it from such a young age. You're like maybe 12, 13 years old already. You're getting prepared for the Olympics. Some of the people competing and the girls competing are 15, 16. You know, it's a very young age to be competing at that stage. So she's been doing it for such a long time, and she's just 24 years old. The things she does are incredible. I don't know how exactly the sport is judged or scored or whatever, but you can definitely see the skill level difference between her and everybody else.
A combined total of 31 Olympic and World Championship medals. Biles is the most decorated American gymnast and is one of the greatest and most dominant gymnasts of all time. And she's 24 years old.
And I would say also, like, unanimously one of the most respected athletes in the world ever, as I see also on social media. The types of people that...
Well, I even know who she is. Here's the thing. I already know who she is. I've been known who she was, and I don't even follow the sport. That's when you know someone has taken the sport to a different level. I don't know anyone in the sport. I just know her. I just know, that's the sport that she is the best at. That's
same.
That's what I know.
Like, I know
the one where she's the best.
I know the ladies that compete for my country. So the Netherlands would be like. So you don't even know. Yeah, but
I don't know shit.
But I follow the Olympics. I follow these sports, so I know them because they're also super high level. But they always, like, as amazing as they are, they always have to fall second to Simone Biles, and they have so much respect. Like, even the people that she's destroying, in a sense, have so much respect for her. They're friends with her and everything. Like, everyone, agrees, and there's nothing to be said about her credentials. So, Tokyo happens. There's the Olympics right now, and I think it was a semifinal. She felt her mental health was getting in the way of her maneuver, is it called? Performance. And she felt lightheaded. And, these gymnasts are spinning in the air and they don't know where they are. They have to land on their feet. She said it could have gone wrong. She didn't know where she was. Anxiety got to her and affected her physically. So she withdrew from the final. And I think her timing was off too, and her score wasn't that great. But I think in terms of Simone Biles' level scoring, it wasn't good. But on the grand scheme of things, it was good still. I mean, she got in the final. So she decided to withdraw because of mental health. Now, initially, my reaction. Initially, my reaction was like, "You're quit." That was my initial reaction, to be honest. Not reading into much, and then the last few days I've been reading more about it, and I realized there's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that make a case for it. First of all, Simone is on ADHD medication. The medication she was on supposed to take is not allowed, at least for athletes in Japan. So she had to use something different. So she couldn't get that under control. Secondly, I didn't know this, and this is shocking and fucked up, frankly. The scoring system and the judging system was changed based on her numbers. Like, she is smashing it so much that the Olympic Committee has decided we need to change the rules and how things are scored to give other people a fair advantage, which puts an immense amount of pressure on this girl. So, look, I understand. I understand the amount of pressure it can take. By the way, I also agree that nobody should have an opinion on this. This is her thing. Nobody should. People saying she's disgraced her country. Listen, I get the whole sentiment of, especially, you know what they're pissed off about, these right-wing people mostly, is because Russia won gold. And I think if it wasn't Russia that won gold because of that, like people would be less critical of it too.
Okay, Russia won gold because she didn't.
Listen, bro. In the end, this is the athlete. She's doing it for herself.
Yeah.
It's the media, the country that's putting all this pressure, putting themselves on them. It's the same argument as these footballers that are like mixed race, for example, like for the French. And this was a big issue when they won the World Cup. People are critical of that. When people write articles about them when they do something bad or they underperform, they're Senegalese. They're like the Senegalese French player, the Ghanaian, the Algerian French player. When they win the World Cup, it's like we won. The French won.
Yeah, then it's we won.
Exactly.
Then it's we. But
this is a similar situation where like this is if she underperforms, it's like oh she fucked up. If she wins, the country won. She won it for the country.
With the European Championship in football, the obviously also they went up to the finals. England, a lot of that was going on with Sterling, especially in the UK. A lot of that was going on with Sterling.
Oh yeah, that was
if he did something wrong, they would fucking kill him, right? But if he did something right, then they'd be like, oh well, okay, he did kind of okay, Kane is the man. Kane makes it happen. They would keep talking about Harry Kane. Or like, no, he fucking made this whole play and helped you beat the Germans. If it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have beaten the Germans,
bro. They
would have not beaten the Germans.
Yeah, and not to go too much into it, like because it's a while ago, but England, what you're mentioning is so they lost the final because they missed 3 penalties, and the 3 young players that missed their penalties happened to be black, and all the racists came crawling out of the corners, of course, criticizing.
Yeah, it was bad.
Sending threats to these kids.
It was mad.
What I love though is it made everyone else fight back in tenfold. And
that's true.
It made it that to the point that I've actually never seen this much support in the end for people that have fucked up in the most major, moment of their life. There was a lot of understanding. There was a lot of actually critique, and of course the manager himself also just took the blame on himself because the thing me and my friends were talking about while we were so angry for this is like we were angry at the coach for allowing them to take those crucial penalties. When, for example, Saka is the one who got the most hate because he took the final one and missed the last one.
Yeah,
is a child.
Yeah,
he's 18, I think, or 19.
19. Come on.
Isn't the penalty taker ever?
No.
But it's like he got what happens in penalties often is not the best players get to take them necessarily because they don't feel in their right mind. Like they say, okay, I'm not really feeling too confident right now, so other people step up. They're like, I'm feeling very confident, so that's how they usually put the sequence of who's taking them. So that means that this kid took all that pressure on himself and stepped up. That was heroic. And he missed. But it was heroic from step up.
It's not even that the goalie caught it. The goalie caught it.
Yeah.
There's a difference. It's not like he shot it all the way to the side, because that happens too.
I mean, it was a bad penalty.
No, it wasn't. They were all bad.
Yeah.
They were all bad.
I mean, Rashford actually missed it. Like, he hit the post.
He hit the post. Yeah, he hit the post.
Regardless.
The other two, the goalie caught it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good goalie.
It's also like a very good goalie. There's also that.
Yeah.
But no, the penalties weren't good.
When people are in their emotions, their true nature shows. And that's when the racists came out.
That's when they came out. Yeah. And you have some of that here as well. You have a component of that here as well with Simone, for sure.
So you think there's that component as well, the racial component too? Well, it's okay. Let's get to that after sketching the picture, because there's another thing. I disagree with the fact that she's being called a hero.
That's what the discussion was. Okay,
that's my discussion. I don't disagree at all with what she did. You know, we're both diagnosed with mental health issues as well. Different things. I don't know if you want to share anything, but for me, it's I'm not diagnosed with depression. I do feel that I'm diagnosed with anxiety, which often leads to depression in certain circumstances. And I get the prioritizing your mental health thing. I get the whole,
for sure.
Because in the end, it's you, and that's why I was saying like it's her that made these achievements. It's not America. They shouldn't, in the end, think that they have a say in this. Because this is the athlete that's competing. It's the individual. It's about them, and they're the ones that achieved everything.
She put the whole thing on the map in the first place. You guys weren't. This wasn't even your thing.
She didn't even choose to be that person in a way. Like, it's the media that puts that pressure on you and names you as that representative of this. Like, am I explaining it right? Like, you know what I mean? It's America that made her significance what she is to the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who put the weight of that behind her?
Yeah,
saying you have to represent the whole country.
So now they're hating her for the thing that they made her to be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah, and that's the thing. But to go as far as saying this is heroic for just being a human, like, look, I gotta be careful with my words here.
Well, let me offer some pushback.
Right.
I think that the reasoning behind people saying that she's heroic is because it is very difficult. You could look at it the other way. You could also say because she's at such a level and it's the biggest stage for the Olympics finals, right? And she still decided to withdraw. That's brave because other people would have not been confident enough to do that because look at how much hate she got, right? And she knew. Everybody knows that this was gonna. Like, there's no way she didn't know she was gonna get this hate, but she did it anyways, and that's where the heroism comes. That's sort of how I see.
What I agree with is that it should be normalized to be honest, maybe about how you're feeling, and make it more okay to not put as much pressure on yourself when it's really starting to affect your health. But what's happening now is nobody knows, including us. We don't know the level of pressure that what it feels like. So we should not be allowed to criticize it as much as we do. We, as in everybody who's criticizing it. But
I don't know how to do.
I think for kids coming up, where like the overcoming the mental pressure of competition is such an important part of the sport, they might already crack under no pressure. Like they might never learn if this becomes too normal. They might never learn.
The everyone gets a medal thing.
Yeah, like they might never learn.
Yeah, are you anti or I know the answer, but you're anti everybody gets a medal, right?
100%.
You're anti.
I'm anti that.
There's people who are very pro.
Yeah,
this is like actually interesting discussion, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, it kind of ties into this.
It ties into for sure.
It's more like, look,
well,
to become as good as Simone Biles, you have to learn to push through mental pressure, through training, through competition, through
she's done
through everything to create the career. She's been through all that. She's hardened through that. But if it becomes way too normal and everybody gets seen as a hero for doing this, they might never learn and to be hardened to that degree.
That's okay. So let's stay there because that's where my point comes in. To me, it's also different because.
And by the way, before you continue, this is not a knock on her.
No,
she did it right. It's more of what the media is making of it, and all the shouts for this is such a heroic thing. She's done.
Well, to me, it's also different because she's the one doing it, the one who's already given you 31 medals. And become the whole legend thing. If it was some newbie who still has to prove themselves, then like, nah, I'm not feeling that. I'd be like, okay, well, you're trash then. You know what I'm saying? Because you haven't even done anything.
Yeah.
Right? And you're already quitting. You're already doing this. No. But if you're someone that has done so much, you could argue if she's done so much and has done it so long, and even for her, it was whatever it was too much. Even for her, then it must have really been very serious. Like she's not gonna do this for shits and giggles.
Yeah, and I hope people understand what we're trying to say.
That's how I look at it. I don't think
I agree with
that.
But
I get that the heroism thing. But those are the pro everyone gets a medal people, I think.
Who is let's say like who are considered heroes? Like if someone saved someone's life in a war, for example, you're a hero. Michael Jordan, he had the flu bad, and he killed his opposition. And that game, then it came out he had the flu. People called him a hero. Even if he wouldn't have killed the game, if he would have done okay, people would have still considered him a hero because of what he did.
It's funny. I know that people are gonna shit on you for this one too. I know it.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I know people will because and that's the sick thing. Also, if she would have done it anyways and fucking crashed and hurt herself, and we then found out that she wasn't feeling well, I think people would have also said, "Oh, but she still did it, and she's a hero." I was like, "Cool, yeah, but now her leg's broken, man. Like, what are we doing?"
That's why it's a tough situation, and
that's what I'm saying. Like,
and that's why I say like, and we are giving our opinion now, but I don't think anybody's opinion should matter though in this situation. Is what it is. So you shouldn't be hating, and I would never hate on her for this. I hate on the people that are basically lifting her up into a position she doesn't want to be in. She probably doesn't even want to be called a hero for this. She's just like, hey, listen, this should actually be normal. She just did something. She humanized and normalized a sport that's otherwise very Like, hey, shut up and do your thing. Shut up and do your maneuvers.
It's a lot of
or like
sports.
people are getting silenced. Yeah, sure, that's fine. But I think that should only be the case for people that have reached that level.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
She's
it is.
earned the right. That was
Yeah.
my point. She's earned the right to say, fam, listen, I'm not feeling it. I'm not doing it. If you've done so much already, that's someone you should take seriously. You see what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
someone who knows. She knows. And that's why because she uploaded the videos on Instagram to show her training and that she was falling and stuff. And she added to it like, I wasn't feeling, my body and my mind weren't in sync.
Yeah,
And it's dangerous.
it is very dangerous.
And if someone would know, it would be the fucking best person in the world that does this. They would know the intricacies of if you make a mistake, you know what I'm saying? How
Yeah.
you could fall and what would break. Like, she would know. So if she's doing that, she's like, nah. It's like, okay, let's compare this. Like, some friends of mine a friend of mine is really into like race car driving.
Yeah.
Imagine a race car driver, fucking Lewis Hamilton, best race car driver in the world, right? He says, we're right about to start, and he says, you know what? Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm feeling anxious. I'm having anxiety. I can't do this right now. I would completely understand.
Yeah.
If the person is the best person in the world saying I can't do it, he must know what he's talking about, and he's saying if I step in this car, I'm probably gonna crash and hurt myself and other people. So I'm not gonna do it.
Would you call him a hero?
No, I wouldn't call him a hero. I just call him an athlete who knows what he's doing.
That's
I would just call him an athlete who knows when. Like, part of being an athlete is also knowing when you should quit. Like, also in fights or other sports, like, you could keep fighting, but if you keep fighting, this might be your last fight. Like, you might be permanently injured.
This is
You know what I'm
where,
saying? Like, these are the kind of things that I look at it as. But
especially in fighting and sports like that,
sometimes you should quit, man.
the pressure is different, and also you can't really quit at some point because you're in there.
Being beat the fuck up.
Yeah, it's you can't just choose to stand. Like in any other sport, you can just choose to stand, and people are gonna ask you what's up, and then they take you out or whatever.
But you can't do it. You can't do a.
No, they're gonna beat you up until the ref stops it. The ref can decide to stop it, but
You can't tell
not
the ref,
like,
"No,
let's
I'm
defend
good."
yourself at all times. No, that's why it's a different kind of anxiety.
No.
You can tell the ref, yeah, you can say that as well.
Okay, so
But
boxing.
it'll
Let's
take
boxing.
it'll take some punishment before you
Wait,
get to that
so
point.
let's take boxing. You can't just go like, let's say you're boxing, right?
Yeah,
And you were feeling yourself, feeling confident. All of a sudden, the guy gets you, a couple good ones. You're like, oh shit, this is gonna go wrong. There's no way I'm winning this. You can't go, yo. I'm good. You can't do that.
there's enough people
can't yell
that you can take a knee. That's the thing in boxing. You can get counted out. Yeah,
So you can just go on your knees and be like,
and the ref will count to 10, and then you're out. It's like a knockout could be considered a TKO, technical knockout.
So that would also be a way to quit in boxing.
yeah.
I wonder.
But then you'll be seen as a coward.
Oh, you've lost your career immediately.
You lost your career
No one's
immediately,
gonna
yeah.
respect that.
It's not, yeah, it's not
Take
the,
it on
it's
the
not-
chin.
It's not the same with Simone, but
Yeah, but I think.
Listen,
it is a different sport.
I love that she did it, but it's again. I have to keep
It's,
clarifying because every fucker is gonna go after me. Is gonna say like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," because you just
What?
hate it, and nothing of it is being put on her.
It's
It's everybody.
It's a
It's
certain
you.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
motherfuckers,
yeah.
who are blowing this up into something it's not.
Yeah. And the media as well, they made it a big deal because it's. I sort of see it because you have a lot of people. If you have a lot of people that are hating on her, right, for doing it, then I think it's so fair that there's another side that's offsetting it with love. What you're saying, however, is that neither should be. Just leave her alone and just like.
Yeah,
It should
I mean,
just
look,
stop with that. Yeah.
yeah. This should maybe force sort of someone to look into making mental health more of a, like, preparing people mentally better, having more of an ear to preparing athletes mentally as well, like it's to mental health. But it shouldn't be a sign for kids to be like, every time I go through mental adversity, I'm gonna quit.
Okay. Why should?
Because they think that the pressure they're feeling is what Simone was feeling, but no, the pressure that Simone's feeling is probably tenfold. Because going through mental adversity is a part of the of top level sports.
But why shouldn't every boy or girl on the football team, on the soccer team for you Americans, get a medal at the end, even though they didn't win? Why shouldn't both teams that played, everybody gets a medal?
Yeah.
Why not? Because you say no.
Because then nobody will ever thrive to be the best anymore. There's no merit to being a champion. There's no, yeah.
I think that it is very important to learn what it means to lose at a young age.
Exactly.
I think but fucked up it may sound. I'm like, no, you need to know what that feels
No,
like.
but everybody
it's a very
lost.
important lesson.
Dude, you think Simone Biles has won everything in her life? I don't
In the beginning,
know.
in the beginning,
Of course
maybe
you
not.
lose.
I actually don't know. You have those child prodigy.
There's not a
people.
single. I can
Right.
tell you, there's not a single. No, there's not a single person who's never lost in any sport.
Michael Jordan used to not even be that good. The Last Dance. The Last Dance. I watched the whole doc. He used to not have like he had.
Oh,
to
he used to.
really-
You mean like as a kid?
in the beginning, beginning.
Yeah, I'm
like
like,
when he
yeah.
first started. Like he didn't make the
I thought
team.
you were just in general saying like, what the fuck?
No. If you watch I watched the Last Dance
Yeah,
doc,
me
and I
too.
never knew
Yeah.
that. And they explained when he was like, and I think it was a high school, literally.
Yeah,
like,
but-
he didn't make the team once,
Yeah,
and he had to try again the next year, and then they got. You see what I'm saying? Like you had to.
he was too small, is what it is.
He was too small.
Because
and
even in
that
the
type of-
NBA,
yeah.
he wasn't really big.
No.
No. Yeah, but you have to do. Yeah, but nobody like who is there? What kind of athlete in any sport is there who's never lost? Floyd lost too. I mean, like even amateur career he lost, and he also got robbed badly, of course, in the final of the Olympic stuff. But I mean, like as a kid, like this, he's lost. Sure, he's lost. Even like losing sparring, for example, in training, you have to have the feeling of losing. Like this guy was better than me today. This girl was better than me today. So, yeah, it's and that hardens you, and that it's important. It's the same when we talk about like these people, these dickheads that talk wild on the street, and we always say to each other like, this person's just never been punched in the mouth. That's what it is.
A decent punch to the mouth somewhere in your teens is a very healthy experience.
Yeah.
Okay? Just to know, someone can hit me in the face. Okay.
Yeah, there's a consequence to
good
my
to know.
actions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very good lesson to know. Just that, yeah.
It's humbling.
Like, okay. So I need to watch out.
You see the difference in attitude between, let's go to fighters because they're the loud mouths always, that are undefeated in their professional career and they talk all that shit. And the moment and the look in their eyes when they lose for the first time and get their ass handed to them, and then how they come back. And they're always more silent, and they're always more humble, and it's humbling.
Yeah,
it works in every sport, and that's what it takes, dude. If you've never lost, and you're at that level, and you're already like you're the top of your game in the highest division or whatever, and then once you lose, you might just think this is the end. Maybe I just lost it. Like I don't know.
I think
it takes a lot to process.
It might be
you're
even
already
more
the great.
difficult. If you win all the time and you're just so used to winning, and you finally lose once, that might be a very difficult.
Yeah, like you have to go through these experiences early to know how to deal with them. If you go through this experience of losing way too late in your life, then it could definitely have an adverse effect. So,
anyway, there's always next year or whatever. When is the Olympics again?
4 years.
Oh,
but then she'll be 28, so she'll still be relatively young, right? Relatively young as in for an athlete.
I don't know how this sport works. Is that still? Can you still do it?
But the thing is, I can, but it's a low amount. She can. I mean, she's killing it. She's killing everyone's records. The thing is, I don't know if you want to. I don't know. If you've already achieved it, look at the pressure there is now. I'm pretty sure, like now, her sitting out and all this media attention, that's creating a lot even more pressure. That shouldn't even be there.
She might.
Why is this even a discussion? Actually, now that I think about it, why is this even a discussion? Right?
What do you mean?
Why do people feel the need to have such a strong opinion on this? It's like
that's a very deep question. People feel the need to have a very strong opinion about everything.
That's true. Yeah.
I think though, I do think though it's
an individual sport. Well, I mean, there's the team element to it as well. But
it is the Olympics.
Yeah, and
it is the biggest sport event in the world. And I think there's a lot of people watching. People get very nationalistic with these things, and when she, especially the Americans. Yeah. And when she quits,
when they're challenging the Russians,
and she quits, then it's like it becomes a sort of snowball effect. I think of like people were hating, right, and then you had people who were like, no, but she's a hero. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of people saying she's a hero. It's like a response to the people that were hating her. Like, that's how I see it.
Yeah,
so I think.
So I agree, but that's like, hey, we're idiots fighting idiots. Let them duke it out. Yeah, I mean
that's what it is.
I mean, technically, I'm someone saying she's not a hero, but then I'm not saying it in a malicious way and not discrediting anything she's done and how and not even discrediting.
She is a hero. She is a hero, but not for this. For having 31 Olympic medals. That's why. Not for this.
She is a hero as a whole. She's definitely a hero. But this is the most normal thing she's done. Exactly. That's why this is a normal thing, But hey, look. In the end, the result of this and the ripple effect is gonna be good. Because eventually, even the people that'll quit as soon as they, experience the slightest bit of mental adversity. I mean, that's gonna trickle down, and then other people are gonna overtake them as well. And in the end, it'll balance itself out again, if that's the effect. And it's gonna be there's gonna be more of a conversation for high level athletes to talk about the mental stress they go through in these events, and maybe if there are solutions to that, it'll just make the sport better, right?
I mean, so the majority of sports are, for a great part, mental.
Yeah,
the majority of
for
them.
The most part. If you ask athletes, mostly they're gonna say 70-80%, depending on the sport you're doing, is mental.
It's in your head. It's in your head. It's what your mind's at. If you don't, like the same thing we said with the penalties. With the UK, with England versus Italy, it's a head thing. It's a head thing. You could tell, a lot of those boys that missed, when they walked up to the ball, I was like, oh, he's gonna miss. I just knew, I was like, he's gonna miss. He's gonna miss. There's no way he's gonna make this. Look at. But
they always say that, a lot of teams, they practice before a knockout game. They spend a significant amount of time after training practicing penalties, and then all pros and athletes always say, but you can't train penalties though, because you can. In the training, you can shoot all 10 penalties in. You try it 10 times, you score 10 times. Now add the crowds. Now add the actual pressure of the occasion, and everything starts.
The whole fucking country, y'all haven't won in 50 years. It's at the Wembley Stadium. It's too much. But that was that.